After a full-blown assault on mail-in voting, Donald Trump now has his sights set on doing what he can to intimidate voters when they cast their ballots in person. Now, this is based on statements that he made during a recent phone-in interview with his buddy, Sean Hannity.
It's a fraudulent election. Everybody knows it. You don't even have to know politics to know it. 51 million ballots are going to be indiscriminately sent out to people that didn't even ask for them. People are going to say, hey, I just got a ballot. That's great. Let me vote. And it's a terrible thing. They're trying to steal the election.
My question to you then is, are you going to have poll watchers? Are you going to have an ability to monitor to avoid fraud and cross-check whether or not these are registered voters, whether or not there's been identification to know that it's a real vote from a real American?
We're going to have everything. We're going to have sheriffs, and we're going to have law enforcement, and we're going to have hopefully U.S. attorneys, and we're going to have everybody and attorney generals.
We're gonna have unicorns, and we're gonna have butterflies, and we're gonna have fairies. God, he's such an idiot. Like, it's devastating how stupid he is, but how he has these fascistic tendencies, right? It's like a deadly combination, especially a deadly combination for a democratic process. So let me just give you some details. First of all, no one is getting a ballot in the mail when they haven't asked for it. You have to be registered to vote in order to get a ballot in the mail. Even if you live in some of the, one of the few states that do universal mail-in voting, you would have to be a registered voter. So of course, Trump lies to everyone when he says that like his dog got a ballot or someone's horse got a ballot. No, that doesn't happen. Also, Trump's comments come as his campaign works to recruit. He's actually putting action behind this, works to recruit tens of thousands of volunteers for what Republican officials have said could be their largest poll watching operation. Earlier this year, a Trump aide named Justin Clark said that the campaign was working to recruit 50,000 poll watchers. Trump, by the way, has no authority to deploy local law enforcement officials to monitor elections, although his campaign could hire off-duty police to work the polls. And there is history behind this. So back in 1965, conservatives wanted to intimidate black voters by utilizing law enforcement to show up to the polling stations and basically just intimidate them. And there had to be some action taken to ensure that black people who wanted to vote would have the ability to vote. The federal court decree for decades sharply restricted the Republican National Committee's ballot security work without prior judicial approval. The 1982 decree arose from a Democratic National Committee lawsuit that accused the RNC of trying to suppress votes in New Jersey by, among other things, posting armed off-duty police officers at the polls in Black and Latino neighborhoods. So this is the kind of behavior the Republican Party has always tried to engage in, but there used to be some regulations preventing them from being able to do it. However, the decree expired in 2018, and this election marks the first presidential contest since 1980 that the GOP presidential nominee and the RNC will work together on poll watching.
All right, so first of all, I want to explain a very important distinction. As Anna pointed out, the president can't order local police to do anything. That makes no sense. That's not how our government works. Of course, Trump doesn't know that, but as we just explained 2 days ago, he literally doesn't know the difference between the Senate and the House. He thought the Senate Majority Leader could block hearings in the House. So he knows nothing. Number two, it is a federal crime to have cops go to polling stations or federal law enforcement because that is voter intimidation. So it's a law. If you're a right winger, you're like, oh, that sucks, man. I wanted the cops to go there and scare black people. Well, it sucks for you. It's a federal law, so it would be a crime. Does Trump know that? Of course he doesn't know that. Did he bother looking it up? Of course not. Did he ask a single staffer out of the thousands that he has? Of course not. Total moron, just spewing nonsense out. Now, do both parties have poll watchers? Yes, they're civilians. They're not supposed to bring guns to the polling station. And it's okay for both Republicans and Democrats to have representatives there to make sure the process is fair. No one is against that. But part of what Trump wants to do he wants the cops to go there, but he doesn't know that he can't do that because he's an idiot. But they'll tell him, no. The way that Republicans normally intimidate black and brown people is we'll send off-duty cops, which is technically allowed, and go, hey, I'm just coming here as a civilian. We're loaded up with all my guns and looking at you all funny and asking why you're here and what business is it of yours. And maybe you know I'm a cop in the area, but hey, technically I'm off-duty. See, that's how we normally do criminality. Trump's like, oh, dude, he didn't bother checking. He's so, all right. Now, I want to show you one other graphic here, though, because this is voter intimidation is done in many different ways. When the Supreme Court said, hey, you know what, guys? I don't think we need the South to be able to submit changes to federal law. They're not necessarily going to take away polling stations from minority areas to try to rig elections like they did in the battle. Jim Crow is over. So since that Supreme Court decision, let's take a look at where they've taken away the most polling places. What a coincidence. All in the South again, where they're taking away polling places. And I guarantee you they're not taking them away from white neighborhoods. They're taking them away from black and brown neighborhoods. So these guys, Republican Party, have been trying to rig elections ever since their Southern strategy. When they became the racist party, they've always tried to rig these elections and intimidate voters, etc. Super last thing. Did you notice what Trump said in the beginning? He's like, so guys say, hey, I just got a ballot. Great, I'll vote. And what would be wrong with that? What a crazy, now all of a sudden, all the registered voters are voting. Well, we don't want that. Thank you for admitting it, schmuck.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.